Conspiracy Hour with the CJH.
Could it be that the famous senator from Naboo was really murdered? Is it possible that she didn't simply die in childbirth, as we've been led to believe, but was actually assassinated by one of her oldest and closest advisors? Let's begin with the most basic and obvious fact. No medical reason was given for her death. If the medical knowledge existed to rebuild Darth Vader's incinerated body, then the medical technology to deliver babies must have been available as well. Instead of giving a real medical diagnosis of Padme's condition, the medical droid that treated her simply stated that it couldn't identify why she was dying.
Medically, she's completely healthy. For reasons we can't explain, we are losing her.
This is a clear sign that dark forces were at work, forces beyond the medical droid's ability to detect or treat. If we can accept this as fact, then we have to ask ourselves what really killed her, and who was truly responsible for her death. It turns out the answer has been lurking before us all along. One person had not only a motive, but also the ability to end Padme's life. Sheev Palpatine, as one of Padme's oldest advisors, and he was one of the few people who knew she was secretly married to the Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker, who had recently become Palpatine's Sith apprentice Darth Vader. This meant that Padme was partially distracting Vader from completing his master's dark goals. With Padme gone, Vader would turn both his focus and his hatred toward hunting down Palpatine's enemies, but more importantly, by making Anakin believe he'd kill his own wife, Palpatine would have been galvanizing not only Vader's hatred towards the Jedi, but his hatred toward himself as well. We knew this to be true because we see a sinister grin slide across Palpatine's face when he informs a distraught Vader about his pregnant wife. Additionally, Palpatine knew, as Obi-Wan did, that if Padme gave birth to Vader's child, Vader could have a reason to turn back to the light side. Killing Padme and her unborn child eliminated them as threats to Vader. Sheev Palpatine also had a political motive for assassinating Padme. A moral and righteous senator from Naboo, Padme was a strong believer in democracy. When Palpatine declared himself Galactic Emperor, Padme became a founding member of the Alliance to Restore the Republic, an organization dedicated to overthrowing Palpatine's empire. So killing her would strike a blow against Palpatine's political enemies as well. The proof is stacking up, and it's looking more and more likely that Sheev Palpatine, also known as Darth Sidious, really was responsible for Padme's death. But in order to prove conclusively that he really did murder her, we need to ask ourselves, how could he have ended her life from half a galaxy away? Legend has it that Palpatine helped create Anakin Skywalker by using the dark side to reach through the Force and influence the midichlorians. So we know that he knew how to use the dark side to influence whether a person lived or died. And when Vader sustained grievous wounds on Mustafar, Palpatine keeps his apprentice alive by performing a simple gesture. He places his hand on Vader's seared head. If we think hard about it, we realize that this is the exact same gesture Obi-Wan made to heal Luke Skywalker. A clever observer will realize that Palpatine was doing this at the exact same time that Padme's life began to slip away. It suddenly becomes clear that the Sith Lord wasn't merely comforting his wounded apprentice, but literally draining the life from Padme and transferring it to Vader. This means that, in a way, Palpatine was actually telling the truth when he says that Vader killed Padme. So what he told Vader was true from a certain point of view. Vader lived because Padme's death, and Palpatine made it happen. So let's review the facts. The medical droids could not explain Padme's death, indicating that supernatural forces were at work. Killing Padme helped Palpatine turn his apprentice to the dark side and eliminated her as a political threat to his reign as Galactic Emperor. Lastly, Palpatine is rumored to be able to influence a person's life force, and we even see him use his Sith training to draw on the dark side of the Force to artificially keep Vader alive as Padme died. This was a conspiracy, a dark plot, shrouded in secrecy and deceit. A mischievous planned assassination to end kind and moral senator's life, to help an evil tyrant rise to power. The dark side of the Force surrounds both Palpatine's rise and Padme's demise, so it's nearly impossible to know for sure exactly how she died. So I ask you, was this Padme's murder?